Cody Rhodes comments on the AEW All Out Brawl. Plus, we have an update on CM Punk's relationship with AEW. And a top AEW team has signed a new deal. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Something, Cody Rhodes on the road to WrestleMania. The roads to WrestleMania. He was having a chat.
Sorry, I was just thinking about the time you said roads to WrestleMania. It's not been done before on wrestling YouTube.
It's very new. Lovely chat with Elwani, Cody had, about all sorts of things, but the subject of AEW came up, in particular, the all-out, brawl-out, fallout involving CM Punk and the Bucks and Omega et al.
Cody, diplomatic as ever. He's like marketing 101, this lad. He never says anything that'll get him in trouble in these press interviews now. He might smash up a throne in the old place, but when he's being sat down, he's fine. He said, I had a great relationship with Matt, Nick, and Kenny. Still do. It definitely was tested by being young executives. It was tested by having different opinions on wrestling, but our different opinions is what made it strong. That's what made us work. I want to do Crockett and Old School, and they want to do PWG and West Coast, and damn, I loved it. I like that the contention is what made us bond. We bonded forever because of the things we did, but also I had a great relationship with CM Punk, and I'm not putting any blame on anybody. Sorry, I'm super Switzerland on this one. I like that.
Super Switzerland, I believe, was Switzerland on the SNES, which is an improvement on Switzerland on the NES.
Yeah, and then Super Switzerland 64 when it came out.
I don't think it did very well in 3D.
No, I'm not putting any blame on anybody, but I just hated seeing that because as the company grows, and I hope it continues to grow, I hope people remember the mission in the first place, why we were there, and if you bring people in who don't know the mission, then things like that can happen. So I think he's saying there that CM Punk came in maybe not knowing what the mission was, and perhaps that's it. If you ever lose the spirit of All In, you're lost, and I think the spirit was gone in that moment. Doesn't mean you can't get it back, but it was just a bummer.
Yeah, first time that we've heard him speak on that whole situation. In fact, first time any WWE contracted talent has on record spoken about it.
Seth Rollins said some naughty things about CM Punk. We don't want you here, your cancer and all that.
There is that, I guess. But otherwise, like a lot of WWE guys, with the exception of Seth Rollins, they tend to sort of skirt around these issues. And Cody really spends a lot of time with Ariel talking about AEW. And I know a few people like, well, why is he allowed to talk about it? I said, well, it's a massive part of his life. It'd be weird if he was sort of told to not mention AEW at all when chatting to Ariel Helwani.
Yeah, totally agree. It's a weird one with Cody because I sort of mentioned it earlier that he says a lot without saying anything at all. He is ridiculously safe in what he's saying, but he gives you a little glimpse, and I think that that little glimpse comes there in like saying that if you bring somebody in that doesn't get that mission, that's what can happen. But he's Switzerland. He's safe in the middle.
He was also on My Mom's Basement with Robbie Fox. It was Cody. He's, I say this, the safe media guy doing the media tour at the moment. And he talks about his WWE return, saying, no one made me feel a certain way. No one made me feel this way, but I felt like I was an outsider. And to a degree, a bit like an enemy, because we had put on such a battle on Wednesday nights and I'd done things, smashing thrones, and said things, talking about smashing thrones. They weren't things you can walk back. They're things that you live with. Then I was met with the ultimate individual in Seth Rollins, who's carrying Raw, and it's just so good for him to not look at me as the enemy, him to look at me as an asset. If you ask him the same thing, if he was sitting in his chair, he will tell you he doesn't like me. I don't like Seth. We're not going to get along ever. However, the utmost respect for him to look at me as an asset made me not worry about what anyone else was thinking. I imagine there was probably a bit of that when coming back to WWE, a bit like, you know, stepping into enemy territory almost.
Yeah,
when you're
for
that
sure.
sort of, you know, focused on taking over the biz.
Ultimately, though, it's what is best for business, and Cody has been a tremendous asset already and is a tremendous draw as far as WWE goes. So you want to work with those people. Seth doesn't get the credit he deserves for working with Cody, making him look absolutely fantastic. Not that Cody needs a tremendous amount of help with that, but there's no better person than Seth Rollins at doing that. And it bothers me sometimes that Seth Rollins has fallen into the position, on occasion at least, of, especially over the last few years, of being the guy that makes other guys look good. I hope he gets his time again. I hope it becomes the Seth Rollins show.
I mean, it kind of is. We saw on Raw, he had those lovely big boots and was controlling the crowd in the palm of his hand during every segment he's in. Crowd always singing his theme song.
Yeah.
Oh.
But he's not the guy. He's not the face of WWE. No. It's Roman Reigns right now. It might be Cody Rhodes after WrestleMania. And we haven't seen Seth Rollins really be the face of WWE for some time.
It'd be nice if he does get that again. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't, and that's not a dig on Seth. I think because, as you say, he's so good in this role as sort of the guy that gets people to where they need to go.
It's a rough role to get stuck in. It's the Dolph Ziggler sort of thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Where you make everybody else look good, so you're perhaps a little bit, I don't want to say undervalued, but underutilized. And I think that's happened to Seth Rollins. So I hope he gets out of it because he is so good. He is so good.
Cody, who has that tattoo on his neck, was stopped from getting another crap tattoo a few years ago. He talked about this on My Mum's Basement. Ahead of his match with Randy Orton at WrestleMania 26, he said, I almost got a tattoo on my hand of the Legacy logo. Legacy! Remember her? Old Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase and Randy Orton, and that was going to be a thing.
Manu for a bit.
Manu
Sim
for a
Snooker
bit.
for half a minute. Was it? I think Sim Snooker was in there as well.
I definitely remember Manu in there, and then it was like, here I am.
Manu.
OSW review always called him Manu, and I think it's funny because it's quite a nice thing. Kofi Kingston was the one who told me, absolutely do not get that tattoo on your hand of Legacy. Legacy was cool. I was excited about having this first real WrestleMania. But it's not that place on the card that you need to get a tattoo. I thought, okay, I liked the L. I thought it was pretty cool, but I didn't get the tattoo. Kofi was right. Yes, Kofi talked Cody out of getting an L on his arm.
If only Kofi had been on the end of the phone before he got the neck one. Honestly, it would have been a mistake. It would have definitely been a mistake. Kofi's got some nice tattoos. He's got the angel wings, the Mikey Miles angel wings on his shoulder blades. Not many people can pull that off, but it quite works for Kofi.
No, I wouldn't pull tattoos off. It sounds painful. Let's talk a bit more about AEW and CM Punk. And now we're coming up to quite an interesting time because CM Punk is still kind of in a position where he could come back to AEW despite everything that's been reported. There's still sort of a potentially contractual obligation once his injury is healed. And Dave Meltzer's given us a sort of a latest on that for what it's worth.
Yeah, saying a lot of damage has been done. There's a lot of mending fences that needs to be done, and there's been no mending of fences. So a bit of an update there, and that no apologies have been made seemingly on either side. It's a big situation because Punk could be back in 2 months, and then there's a decision. There's going to be a big story how that goes down or doesn't go down. It's a coin toss for me at this moment. I have no idea if he's coming back. What do you think the crowd reaction would be if he came back? He's getting cheered still, probably, but not as big as the first time round.
I do believe, even in this climate, should Cult of Personality hit,
right.
I think it's going to get a reaction. It's going to get a strong babyface reaction. I do think.
I think initially,
caught up in the moment. I don't think people will boo him.
I think the money is there in CM Punk having a heel run off the back of this. Because I think after that initial babyface reaction, people might sour on him a little bit. It depends how it plays out, right? And there's no better talker, right, that can make you feel than CM Punk. But I think the money is in him having a heel run if he comes back. Which again, coin toss to me. Not a clue. Switzerland.
Look at you doing the Switzerland. Let's end on talk of two top teams. So our Aussie Open in the news today. Mark Davis of Aussie Open. They had a stormer of a match against FTR for New Japan last year. They are just an excellent tag team.
They're incredible.
Him and Carl Fletcher.
They're so good at what they do.
Just incredible. He tweeted, the last time I saw Kyle was the morning our flight landed after World Tag League. Aussie Open have no contracted deals. Aussie Open have no confirmed tag bookings. Sometimes you can put everything you have into something and sometimes it's not enough. Why are we in this horrible version of reality where Aussie Open have no bookings?
Bonkers, literally. And people don't talk about them enough, but one of the best tag teams in the world.
Just without a doubt.
Yeah,
shocked at that. Shocked at that.
Yeah, they really are.
Well, I hope there is someone that's hearing this today and going, oh, Aussie Open are free? There you go. Get on that. Aussie Open are quite literally open. We'll end on some news about another AEW team that seals them to AEW. Shade. Or do they?
Calm down.
Let me move my tequila. It seals them to AEW deals for a good while.
That's right. Re-signing with the company. The Guns, Austin and Colton have re-signed with AEW. They'll remain with the company. An exact set of terms for the deal was not revealed, though. Fightful Select have confirmed that the two signed multi-year deals, so don't expect them to go anywhere anytime soon.
They are going to be a team that they will genuinely build some tag stuff around. I know that a lot of people feel quite shocked that the win for them for the tag titles came seemingly out of nowhere. I'm not against it. I think they've been the butt of the jokes for such a long time, pun intended. And I think it's nice to give them something that means something. And then it's, a run with the tag belts, even if, right, they end up losing the belts in a couple of weeks' time, maybe back to the Acclaimed, maybe to FTR.
Yeah.
Then they could go, they have it in their books then. They were the shortest reigning AEW World Tag Team Champions ever. And I feel like they're the sort of team that could have some fun with such an awful statistic.
Yeah, they are. Don't get me wrong. I love the Acclaimed as well. I get totally why they did it. I don't like it still. And not in a heat way. I just don't want to see them with the belts. And I feel a lot of people probably feel the same way. I'm just less entertained by them than I am other teams on the roster. Ooh. But I think they can make it work. And you're totally right. If they have a really short reign and there's something fun that they can do with that. I'm just not a big fan.
Cheers, mate. Guns.
Not Switzerland anymore, am I?
Cheers, mate. Guns crying. Are you twitching tonight?
I am twitching tonight. It's a Valentine's Day special. I'm doing Blanda Data. I'm doing Don't Tell the Bride, and I've still got to figure out another program. 6 p.m, twitch.tv/Cultaholic.
Hang out with Adam Pacitti on this lovely Valentine's Day. You love it, and he loves you too.
Yeah, I've seen that, by the way.
That's fine then. We'll have more wrestling news throughout the day, don't you mean? At cultaholic.lil. Stay safe. Love you, bye.